Hello everyone. Today we will explore a topic that touches many lives: the concept of having a midlife crisis. This is something I've talked about a couple of times recently, and so I thought it would be a good topic to discuss here. What is a midlife crisis? First of all, what is a midlife crisis? Well, according to some definitions, it's an emotional crisis involving one's identity and self-confidence. This usually happens somewhere between the ages of 40 and 60, but could happen a little before or after this. So during this crisis, a person often questions their life choices, their identity, and their desires. They've already lived around half their life, and they might not be happy with where they're at. It's understandable, really. Financial stress. Let's talk about some of the different areas of life that people tend to question or change during this period. First, let's talk about finances. A lot of people feel really stressed financially during their adulthood. Not only do they need to provide for themselves and any family they have, but they also need to think about their children's future expenses, their own retirement, and plenty of other things. Thus, it's normal to feel like you're just barely getting by financially. And when you're feeling this way in your 40s or 50s, it's especially stressful. People often expect to be thriving financially during these years, so it's a big blow to them when this doesn't happen. But it's normal to have a lot of expenses during this time. I think many of us are going to deal with this. Changing family dynamics. Something else that contributes to midlife crises is changing family dynamics. In the US, it's common for kids to move out of their parents' house at a relatively young age. This means that a lot of people in their 40s and 50s become empty nesters, as we call them. This just means that they have adult children who have already moved out. This can be a difficult transition for parents, seeing as they've spent so much of their focus and energy on raising their children. Once they move out, their parents can feel a little bit empty and experience negative emotions. So this is a challenge that people have to overcome. Physical changes. Another factor that plays a role in midlife crises is a person's physical changes. When people start to feel their body changing with age, it can be hard to deal with. We like to think of ourselves as healthy and fit, and so it's hard for us to experience a physical decline. It's not cool to feel like we can't do all the things we used to do, and it can cause people to worry about their future health. So this might drive people to become more active and get in shape. Sense of accomplishment. One other factor involved in midlife crises is people's sense of accomplishment. If you feel like you haven't achieved a lot by this time, you can get discouraged. We all want to feel like we've done great things and served a higher purpose. So, people might change their career during a midlife crisis because they want to do something more meaningful. So a lot of this sounds pretty negative, but people eventually get through this period. Once they can accept these changes and get refocused, they can work through this challenging time and become stronger as a result. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.